Welcome to the Pick Vault. Taking sports gambling to the next level. No more winging it. It's time to get paid. We're a sports gambling consultation firm. We use sports, news, sports data, stats, and analytics. And we help you unlock your money. Get ready to start winning. This is the Pick Vault. And here's Matt Taylor.
It's the Pick Vault. Gonna sit you down and listen to this real talk. Ain't no first or second option, this the default. Turning picks into these dollars, gonna let them fall. Raining down these daily winnings like an aerosol. Analytics calculated just to win it all. Problems when it comes to choosing, we got all them solved. Got the picks that needin' fixed and you know who to call. Cause this the Pick Vault.
And that is Jay Alive Official. Welcome to the Pick Vault. I'm Matt Taylor alongside my co-host, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. It is Sally Picks 585 Bets. If you guys don't follow Sally Picks on Instagram, make sure you guys check him out at Sally Picks 585 Bets on Instagram. And again, I'll say this out there to everyone. Sally Picks is the best capper, especially right now. He's in freaking Las Vegas. He gets the information right to him in the moment, in real time. You guys need to go follow Sally Picks 585 Bets and check out his packages. He's got a $100 week package for you guys out there right now. And I always say this to everyone out there. He's lost a few in a row, which is fine. Everyone has a hot streak, a cold streak. No one's going to win them all. But I will say this. When he loses one, that's when you hop on the train, because he will go 8, 9, 10 in a row. We've seen him do it before. We've seen him bounce back bigger and better than ever before. And I think that's what we're going to see here from Sally Picks. So Sally Picks, welcome to the Pick Vault. What's going on?
How you doing, Matthew? How's it going, man? I just want to start off by saying thank you once again. I love co-hosting the show with you, man. It's just an honor of mine. So with that being said, yes, the last couple of days, I, picked a couple L's. I hit last night with the Golden State Warriors on the money line. I wish I took the spread on. I would have won a lot more money, but I did it all part of the strategy. I did it because I had to get the wheels greased. Now the wheels are greased. Ready to take off tonight with a W and go into the weekend on a little bit of a streak. So thank you. Let's grease the wheels. Let's start the engine and let's go. Choo-choo. Choo-choo.
Love it. So again, tonight, I mean, the weird thing about these primetime games recently has kind of been whether it's because of injuries. I mean, we've seen the Seahawks in primetime football a few times, without Russell Wilson. The Browns obviously had that primetime game without Baker Mayfield. We've seen a few games in a row now. Even the Saints this past week, I mean, that game was kind of mediocre across the board. Again, the Seahawks Saints game, I'm talking about not many points being scored. And tonight, I mean, I don't know if there's many people across the board that are looking at this game and saying, oh my God, I'm so excited to watch the Jets and the Colts go head-to-head. A lot of people had high expectations for this Colts team heading into the season. You mentioned it before on one of our podcasts, that the fact is this Colts team, with what they have right now, with Phillip Rivers last year, was a playoff contender, a playoff team, and a real force in the AFC. This year, starting the season 3-5, maybe not the force we've seen them in years past, especially with Phillip Rivers, and that has to do with Carson Wentz and maybe his lack of being the star-studded Carson Wentz that we saw in Philadelphia. On the other hand, this is typical. I mean, this is typical New York Jets. There's not much to really say here other than the fact that this Jets team, 2-5, they're not 0-5. So I guess if you're in New York, you're happy. Obviously, last week, the big story is Mike White. The big story is about this young guy coming in his first NFL game, putting up 405 passing yards, throwing 37 for 45, and putting up crazy, ludicrous Madden numbers, and getting the Jets a win over one of the better teams, again in the AFC, and that was the Bengals last week. They kind of upset the Bengals last week with, again, a double-digit underdog, another upset for this Jets team. So, Sal, as we look at this game tonight, I kind of just highlighted some of the main key points. I want to throw a question your way because a lot of people were talking about, should this be Zach Wilson's game? Should this be Zach Wilson's team moving forward? Or do you give a guy with the hot hand, Mike White, who obviously came in last week, looked phenomenal? Do you give him the ball? And what are you expecting to see out of White tonight?
So I know me and you talked about this a couple times this week, okay? I always go with, if it's not broke, don't fix it, okay? So he
and down goes Sally.
Oh, sorry. So anyways, I'm sorry, guys. My phone just fell. Okay. So with that being said, with that being said, the guy came in, okay, and the Jets had a spark with him.
Yep.
He looked good. They were scoring touchdowns. They won the game. The Jets don't win many games. This guy came in. It looked like the team actually liked playing with this guy.
Yeah. I
mean, they were moving the football. He was the passing leader last week with total yards, okay? He beat every other quarterback. Is it a fluke? Hey, we're going to find out tonight. But why take this guy out, okay, when he played a great game? Maybe this is what they need.
Yeah,
Let's see what he does tonight.
What I'll say is I don't think this guy specifically is the answer in New York. I don't think there's really many answers in New York at this point that could come in and completely change this franchise around. I really don't at this point. But what I will say, and I kind of want to get your opinion on it, what I will say is Mike White put up a crazy performance last week, and you got to give him credit where credit's due. But when you're talking about Zach Wilson, they went and they got him in the first round. They got him early, and once you make him the starter, it's hard to now put him in a quarterback controversy, which is funny because I'm talking about quarterback controversy here when a guy, in Carson Wentz, who's on the other side of the ball tonight in Indianapolis, he's a guy that never did well when there was a quarterback controversy, a question of who's going to be the starter or not. You never know with a young guy coming in like Zach Wilson, what this is going to do to his mentality, what it's going to do, because, again, you now give this guy Mike White the opportunity to win over the fans, and anytime that Wilson does anything bad, you're going to hear those fans in New York, hard place to play and win, but in New York saying, we want Mike, we want Mike. So again, that's the only thing I get worried about with a young quarterback, but again, like you said, you got to go with the hot hand here, and especially I don't think Wilson's 100%. He got beat up the past few weeks, and so, yeah, you don't want to get him injured either. So this year, the Jets aren't winning anything, so I think, give the fans what they want tonight in primetime football. Give him an opportunity. Who knows? Maybe this is a guy that you could utilize down the stretch. I do think Zach Wilson is what they're going with because, listen, if you're a New York Jets fan, you got him in the first round here. You got him early in the first round here. You went all in on him, and all I'm going to say is this. The last quarterback you went all in on was Geno Smith. The quarterback before that you went all in on was Mark Sanchez. Those first-round draft picks didn't pan out the way you wanted if you're a New York Jet fan, and now you did it again here. You go get a guy in Zach Wilson. Don't make it harder on him than you have to. Don't make it harder on him than it has to be. So we'll see how it all pans out in New York. But for me, you got to go with Mike White tonight.
You got to. But you know what? This could also make Zach Wilson a little better. Like you said, now you got this guy that's coming in. He's starting tonight, Let's see what happens with him tonight. He might have a horrible game. It might have been a fluke last week. He might come out tonight, which I kind of expect, and throw a couple interceptions and not have the game he had last week. But if he does, then if he comes out tonight, okay, and has a game like he had Sunday, then you're going to hear some talking, okay?
Well, here's what I'll say. Here's the only thing I'll touch on. We've seen many quarterbacks, many rookie quarterbacks. I'm not going to say come in and throw 400 yards. We don't see that. So I'm not trying to undermine what this guy did last week. But I can say this. When a young quarterback gets an opportunity, especially a young quarterback that there's not much film on, he was prepared. He was ready. You got to give him credit. But it's much harder to prepare for that when you didn't know what to expect from a guy. Now you give a team, again, a veteran coaching staff. I mean, that's been there a while. A coaching staff that, again, is in an organization that knows what winning's like. Obviously, having Peyton Manning winning Super Bowls and being in a winning organization. All of a sudden, you give that organization some time to prepare for, again, Mike White. There's a reason he wasn't drafted high. There's a reason he went under the radar. There is Cinderella stories. I just don't think this is one. And I'll say this tonight. Throwing 45 passes tonight with a rookie quarterback who's only played in one game is not going to work week 2 here, his second week in the NFL. He threw 45 passes. Last week, it worked. This week, I don't think that's a winning formula for this team specifically. But, hey, I'm excited to watch the young guy go out there and sling it tonight. That's the only thing I'm really looking forward to. On the other side of the ball, we got to talk about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, again this season, so far, 168 for 270. He's thrown for 1,926 yards on the year. He's got 14 touchdowns and 3 picks. Thing is this, Carson Wentz finds unique ways to lose ball games. And we saw that again last week. He is probably the king of the NFL in the past 5-6 years of throwing a late, interception. And maybe before that, it might have been Phillip Rivers. Because Phillip Rivers, if you remember in Indianapolis, he'd be in the game till the fourth quarter. And all of a sudden the fourth quarter would come around and you just knew this guy that doesn't turn the ball over would turn it over in the fourth quarter and lose you guys the game. And I think that's exactly what happened last week against the Titans. The one thing I want to touch on, I want to get your opinion on. This Colts team this year, yes, they are 3-5. Yes, they are 3-5. But their losses, they got 2 losses to the Titans, a great team in the AFC this year, and especially when they had Derrick Henry, a great team in the AFC. And then you got the Ravens, the Rams, and the Seahawks. Those are their losses this season. And the Seahawks had Russell Wilson. So their losses are to the top tier in the AFC. On the other hand, the Eagles, their losses this year came to the Carolina Panthers, the Bengals, the Falcons, and they lost twice to the Patriots. So, again, I think the quality of loss, you got to... The Jets, yes, correct. The quality of loss, you got to say, okay, the Colts have lost 5 games, yes, but they've lost to the top echelon in the AFC. On the other hand, the Jets have lost to, a slew of teams that kind of fill out the entire spectrum. What do you think Carson Wentz has to do tonight to bounce back here, especially in the AFC where, again, you have 5 losses. You're not out of the equation in the NFC. If you had 5 losses at this point, I would say you're kind of out of the equation. There's too many teams in there that are going to be competing for a wild card. I just don't see it right now. But what do you got to say from Carson Wentz tonight? What do you have to see him do tonight to kind of flip the script for you?
Okay, well, they beat the Rams 27-24, okay? Which is a quality win. The Rams are a very, very good team, okay? They should have beat the Ravens. What was that, 2 Monday nights ago? That game they had the Ravens. They were up, 16 points or something like that going into the fourth quarter, and they blew it, okay? They should have beat the Titans last week. They were up 14-0, and then they were up late in the game. And then when it was tied, they had the ball, and Carson Wentz throws the interception that gets basically a pick six. Throw it right to the guy, and he runs into the end zone. Carson Wentz has got to stop trying to be the hero late in the game. If he's getting pressured, he's got to learn to throw the ball away. Just throw it away. Live for the next down. And that's his problem. He gets in these situations, and then he forces the ball, and what happens? He turns it over. And now you're putting your whole team into a bad spot, especially the defense, okay?
Yep.
So he's got to look at, and he's a veteran. I mean, he should know better. Okay, but he makes some dumb decisions, and it gets me mad because the Colts are a lot better than their record shows.
100%.
They really are.
100%.
Okay.
And they do have some easy games coming up tonight. Is one of those games you have to chalk up. If you're a Colts fan and you see the schedule, you see the schedule come out, you have to check this off as an automatic win. You guys can't lose this game if you're a Colts fan. There should be no conversation, no ifs, ands, or buts. This should be a check mark game. You move on to the next one. And I hate saying that in the NFL because you can't overlook any team. We saw that last week with this Jets team. But what I will say is from Carson Wentz, we got to get Jonathan Taylor involved early in this game. That's one of the storylines. Jonathan Taylor, if you get him involved in the running game early, and even the passing game, I don't care how you do it, you got to get the ball into your star's hands. You got to get him the ball early in the game. It opens up a lot for your offense, especially, again, if he's running the ball strong. All of a sudden, that opens up the play action. That opens up the pass downfield. Obviously, you got Michael Pittman Jr. out there that you could throw to deep. That's been his main target this season. 45 receptions for Pittman Jr., 594 yards, and he's got 4 touchdowns this season. So, again, when you get Jonathan Taylor involved early in the game as a Colts fan, that's a good formula win for this team, this Colts team. And, again, you got to keep pounding it with Taylor until you can. Until they take it away, and then that's when you can expose them with the play action and obviously getting the ball down the field, as I mentioned.
I love it. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a huge game, and you said it. You got to get the running game going, and then it opens up things for Carson Wentz and the receivers. He play action. You get some guys open. So I do look for Jonathan Taylor also to have a lot of receptions. I could see tonight, Wentz, dumping it off to him, and he gets a lot of yards after the catch. So I do like Jonathan Taylor to have a great game tonight. I think Carson Wentz has all you got to do. You're playing the Jets, man. Okay, manage the game. Don't make stupid throws. Okay, don't turn the ball over. You win the game. Okay? The only way you lose this game, and you also touched on it, sometimes teams, you look at the calendar, you see we're playing the Jets tonight, you overlook them, okay?
Well, I don't think that's happening tonight because, dude, this is the one thing I'll say is tonight, this is a team. You need to get a win. They need a win. They lose tonight. You go to 3-6 and you lose to the Jets. I'm telling you right now, people in Indianapolis, a city, as I mentioned, that loves winning, that is used to quarterback play that is unbelievable, that is used to the Andrew Lucks, that's used to the Peyton Mannings, that's used to the Phillip Rivers, that's used to being in the playoffs. If you can't do it, Carson Wentz, you have your coach that you wanted. You got right. You got the coach that you wanted. You got the situation you wanted. You got players around you. You got Jonathan Taylor. You got Michael Pittman Jr. You got receivers. You got a defense. You got to win these games and get your team into the playoffs. And Sal, that's where we're going to go next. Let's talk about Vegas by the numbers. And I know that everyone out there loves this segment as a part of our show because we tell you where the money is so that you guys can kind of see, are you going to bet like a sharp tonight? Are you betting with the public? And that's a fun little segment. But before we do, Sal, I do want to remind everyone out there the Pick Vault is for entertainment purposes only.
The following media content is for entertainment purposes only and should not be used for the purpose of in-person or online, legal, or illegal sports wagering or gambling of any kind. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. By continuing to watch this media content, you're accepting the Pick Vault LLC's terms of use, terms of conditions, and privacy policy located at www.thepickvault.com.
All right, now that that's out of the way, let's dive into Vegas by the numbers. Obviously, as I mentioned, a lot of public bets in these primetime games. We love talking about it because, again, if you aren't considering where the money is, you aren't considering, again, this as a sports investment, you're considering it as a gamble. So tonight, let's look at the numbers. We got 64% of the bets, Sal, and 58% of the total money on the Jets spread, getting 10.5. The line has actually just shifted to 10 points here, and that might change by game time. It might go down more, it might go back up. It really depends on a number of things. I think in Jersey, you got a ton of money coming in on the Jets with the points. Again, that's the New York crowd. That's everyone out there. Sure. So depending where you're looking, that line's 10, 10.5. But again, 64% of the bets and 58% of the total money on the Jets spread, 36% of the bets and 42% of the money on the Colts spread. So again, if you're looking at total, percentage of money bet, 58% of the public is on the Jets plus the 10.5. I'm going to go to you there. What are your initial thoughts there with the public being on the Jets with the points?
I mean, like you said, I'm sure a lot of action, especially FanDuel. It's in East Rutherford. It's right there where the stadium is. So you probably got, a lot of Jets guys going there. I mean, I can't see 10's a lot of points, 10.5. It went down to 10 now. That's a lot of points for any professional team. Okay. These guys are pros. At the end of the day, they're pros. Okay. I mean, we had the same situation the other night with the Kansas City Chiefs against the Giants. I think the line, it was 10.5, right? Yep. 10.5, 10, the same situation there. All right. And look what happened. The Giants could have won that game. But tonight, I think the 10 points, I think the number is right where it should be. I think the Colts win this game by a couple touchdowns. I really do. I just don't see the Jets. Listen, they just blew their load against the Bengals, okay? They just had a great game against the Bengals. I think tonight, back to reality, guys. Back to the New York Jets football team that everybody knows about. Back to reality. I think the Colts win this game easily.
Yeah, and you got to consider the fact as well, the Colts last week losing in overtime, kind of a heartbreaker. As I mentioned, it comes down to the interception by Carson Wentz at the end of the game that cost them in the end. I think they have a lot to prove tonight, and I don't even think you can win this game by one possession. You have to win this game by multiple possessions in order to make that statement win. You have to get it done. I'm not saying where I am yet, but again, you have to get it done. If you're a Colts fan looking at this game, you have to win this game by double digits. You have to say, okay, we are a force in the AFC. Don't forget about us because we're here and here to stay. So that's what you got to do if you're a Colts fan. And then moving down to over-under here, Sal, 63% of bets and 25% of the total money. Again, listen to that one more time. 63% of the total bets, but only 25% of the money. Meaning 75% of the money right now is on the under, okay? 25% is on the over. So a lot of big money is on the under tonight. Again, considering that sharps in Vegas are pushing that significantly. So you got the under right now as a play, according to sharps in Vegas, and big money across the board with 73.4% of the total money on the under tonight and only 25% on the over. What's your thoughts there, and why do you think so much public money and so much big money is being placed there on the under?
Well, the number is what? Set at 45, right? Correct?
45 and a half right now.
45.5. And the spread's at 10.5. It went down to 10. Okay.
Yep.
So you're saying now, basically, to me, the way I look at that, okay, is they're saying that the Colts are going to win the game big and the Jets are not going to score many points. That's the way I look at it, okay? Yep. So I don't do over-unders that much. If I was to bet this game, I would take it under. And, I look for a game tonight. I mean, I'm going to throw a little prediction out there. I think the Colts win it easily. I think it's going to be 28 to like maybe 10, 28-13, something like that. You know, I think Colts win it easily. I really do.
As I mentioned before, I mean, if you are a Colts fan, that's what you got to be rooting for. Obviously, the Jets fans out there, and it goes, easily said, but you got to think about the fact that you're a Colts fan. You have to win this game by double digits against the Jets' backup quarterback, a team that's 2-5, a team that should not even give you any challenges. Again, the one thing I touch on all the time, New England Patriots, whether they have Tom Brady or not, now we're seeing them look good the past few weeks with Mac Jones. But the one thing I'll say, they win the games historically that they have to win. Even this season, I touch on them because they've beaten this Jets team, twice already. So you're talking about a team that when they have a game they need to win, they get the job done. And that's exactly what the Colts historically have done. They're maybe not going to win the big games. They're maybe not going to win the games down the stretch they need to. But this season, this Colts team needs to win these easy games, these checkmark games, as I'll call them here. You need to get the wins in these moments, and that's what you have to do tonight. So now let's shift the conversation, Sal, because we touched on over-under. We touched on where we kind of stand. Let's dive into some player props for tonight's action, and I think it's going to be a fun game for player props because there's a lot of weird stats for this game specifically. So I'm going to dive in here. I'm going to give you guys the 4 player props brought to you by the artificial intelligence-backed computer simulations. Then, Sal, I'll throw it your way and let you, throw one out there to the world. And 2 pick Vault Nation. So everyone out there, first player prop, we got Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown scorer. I think that's an easy one. It's minus 200. Lay the wood, lay the house, lay the brick. I don't care what you want to say. This guy's getting in the end zone. I think a lot of people out there, actually, a lot of analysts are projecting him to score 2 touchdowns. If you want to sprinkle on it, maybe sprinkle on it because, again, Carson Wentz in the red zone, not great. Hand the ball off. Let this guy run it right in. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown scorer, minus 200. Next up, we're sticking with the trend. Jonathan Taylor over 17.5 receiving yards. Sal, you touched on it. You could see this guy from the backfield getting a lot of action. We've seen it. That position, the running back position this season, has been evolving. And guys are getting the ball in the backfield. Kamara's done it tremendously this year. Zeke's starting to do it a little bit more. Obviously, McCaffrey back in the lineup for the Panthers. Known for the fact of getting that ball out of the backfield and going downfield. Jonathan Taylor over 17.5 receiving yards tonight. And now let's have a little fun here. Another juicy play, another play you got to lay the wood. But again, this is one you take to the ticket, and you could just say, okay, tomorrow morning I wake up, automatic money. Here it is. Mike White, quarterback, backup quarterback, whatever you want to call it, young prodigy. This is his encore game tonight. Mike White will throw a pick, according to the pick vault. We got him throwing at least 2 picks tonight, but only bet the one. We're going to go Mike White to throw an interception, minus 210. I know it's juicy, everyone out there, but Mike White will throw a pick tonight. Mark my words. And then finally, the last play on the pick vault player prop board, we got Michael Carter, again, the running back here for the Jets this season, under 49.5 rushing yards. Now, last week, against the Bengals, again, total, outlier of a game for him, put up 77 rushing yards last week. He's still only averaging 3.8 yards per carry this season. And the one thing I want to talk about, when you have a young quarterback like Mike White, you know that they're going to sell out the run. They're going to sell out the run, the Colts are tonight, and they're going to say, you know what, you're going to have to beat us passing the football. And I just don't think tonight they're going to allow Carter to rush that much. And again, you got to think about the fact that spread's 10.5, which means what, Sal? In the fourth quarter, the third quarter, this team is going to be playing from behind. You're not going to be running the ball a ton. I don't think he's going to get the carries to get it done, especially when he's only averaging 3.8 yards per carry this season. So we're going Michael Carter under 49.5 yards. So one more time for everyone out there, the 4 pick ball plays. We got Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown scorer. We got Jonathan Taylor over 17.5 receiving yards. We got Mike White to throw an interception tonight. And then finally, Michael Carter under 49.5 rush yards. And I'm going to throw one thing out here. Normally, I don't do this, but I'm going to do it. I think tonight there's a trap play out there, and I think everyone on Pickball Nation that's out there that's looking at the lines, looking at it, they're looking at one play saying Carson Wentz over the 245.5 passing yards. Don't lay it. Don't do it. I think it's a trap game because everyone's expecting Wentz to bounce back tonight. Everyone's expecting it. Here's a nugget for you. 5 out of his last 6 games, Carson Wentz has thrown under 245.5 passing yards. I don't bet it. I don't bet him over or under, but I would stay away from that play because I think it's a trap out there because everyone out there is expecting a big game from Wentz, and that's when I think the books make their money, and that's why tonight I'm going Jonathan freaking Taylor. Sal, your way. What's a player prop you love?
I love Jonathan Taylor. I love that. I think he, especially the receiving yards. What is his rushing yards right now, Jonathan Taylor?
I'll pull it up on Vegas.
Okay,
I'm
pull that up. It was like 38, if I'm correct.
Let's see. Okay, Jonathan Taylor over under 84.5 rushing yards.
84.5 rushing yards. I
lot.
think he has a big day. That's a lot. I like the receiving yards that you got, 17.5. Okay. Carson Wentz, you were just talking about it. Okay. His over under on receiving yards. Now it's kind of like the situation the other night, the Monday night game with Mick Holmes. Okay. Everybody thought he was going to have a huge game, including me, okay? I thought this guy was going to have a huge night. I thought he was going to throw for over 2 touchdowns. He busted an egg, okay? He didn't. I think he threw for the over-under on that was like 302, I think, 303. He threw for like 265, something like that, okay? So, yeah, I could see that being a trap with this quarterback tonight, with Wentz tonight. I wouldn't touch that, okay? The only one that I really do like, it's a little juicy, like you said, but Jonathan Taylor. Oh, and I do like White to throw an interception. Yes, it's juicy.
Maybe you parlay that. I mean, if you could do a same-game parlay, I know that's a big thing out there now. Everyone's doing these player prop parlays. They've seen them on BR Betting. They've seen people make a ton of money. If you want to get, take that value, I think those are both locks. And I know you can't say, hey, it's a lock, because you know what? Nothing is a lock in this industry. But... I mean, people can get injured. We have no idea what's going to happen tonight, especially with the player props. You have no idea what could happen tonight. But I will say this. Those 2 plays from a player prop perspective have a very high percentage of hitting, both of them. Put them together in a parlay, and maybe you wake up tomorrow with a little money in the pocket. You get a little excited. So, Sal, I do agree with you. I think those are 2 plays. I do like the same game parlay, and I'll throw that out there on the Pickball page for everyone because I do think that's a fun little parlay to do. If you guys are betting legally, and you should be betting legally, through an official book. I know Sal's out there in Vegas. He only bets legally, and same here with us here at the Pick Vault. So going down, you got something you want to say before we move on?
No, I just thought I agree with that, man. And just
so let me ask you, you want to throw the under. I can see it in your eyes. You look like you want to throw under Carson Wentz yards. You look like you want to do it. You got the energy? You want to do it or what?
You know what? I'm staying away from it. I'm staying away from it.
All right.
I'm staying away from it. It's because I got burned. I got burned the other night with the same kind of situation. And not for nothing, man. These player props are great. But you guys also got to understand, this is football. This is a contact sport, okay? So now you go and bet a player prop, and a guy gets hit, and he gets injured. It's over.
And we've seen a few player props get busted. Or early in the year. Again, I'm a Panthers fan. Exactly. I remember earlier in the year on the Monday night game, Christian McCaffrey got hurt early in that ball game. Panthers ended up getting the win, but everyone out there had the player prop: McCaffrey to score, McCaffrey to score. Again, that's the only reason I don't throw big on player props. Have a little fun with it. If you want to play with it, but kind of like a cat with yarn. You want to play with it, just don't mess up. Don't go deep on these things. Because you never know what could happen, especially as Sal said. Injuries have been happening. We've seen it across the league. Jameis Winston's now out for the season. You look across the game, Derrick Henry, another running back that's been injured, maybe out for the whole season, out for at least an extended period of time. You look across the league, injuries are happening. This is the time of year when you see teams go and make some moves. Before we move on to our plays for tonight's game, and I do want to give you a moment to grease the wheels and get everyone freaking excited about some stuff.
Greasing the wheels tonight, boys.
Absolutely.
We are greasing the wheels tonight.
So I do want to get your take for the second straight day now, 2 days in a row. Odell Beckham Jr. has been kicked out of practice and not allowed to practice with the team. And so my question your way, I said it for 2 weeks. I've said it for 3 weeks. I've said it for 4 weeks. Said it for 5 weeks now, I believe. Since week 2 or 3, I said, listen, I just think Odell Beckham's done in Cleveland. The reason being, Baker plays better, and the statistics back it up. The analytics back it up. Baker plays better without Odell Beckham Jr., and Odell Beckham Jr. plays better without Baker Mayfield. Odell is a player in this NFL league. Odell Beckham Jr. is a player that will thrive with a veteran quarterback. He thrived with Eli Manning, and I believe he would thrive under a system like the one we see in Green Bay. I touched on it. If the Green Bay Packers want to win this season, obviously, Aaron Rodgers out this week against the Chiefs. I think that line has shifted from a pick'em game to 7.5. All of a sudden, you got to make a move to say, you know what? We got Rodgers right now in his prime, playing the best football of his career again for the third consecutive season. We need to capitalize and get Green Bay a championship. Get this man another ring. Get him the moment, because you got the quarterback, and not every team in this league has the quarterback to win right now. They do. Go get Odell Beckham Jr. I've seen a lot of storylines that maybe he's going to be going to the Saints. I've seen a lot of storylines that he's on the move for sure. He's not going to be in Cleveland, especially not this Sunday. He's not playing Sunday, but he is not going to be in Cleveland moving forward. They're either going to release him or they're going to trade him. I don't see the value in releasing him. I think there's a lot of teams right now that would trade for a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. Yes, they have to pay a big part of that salary, but you know what? You get a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. and add him to the equation. He might not be wide receiver 1 right now, but imagine him in a uniform with a guy like Devontae Adams. Imagine him in a uniform with a guy like Michael Thomas, who's coming back for the Saints. Imagine him in a uniform with Julio Jones in Tennessee. I mean, there's a lot of teams that if you add Odell Beckham Jr., all of a sudden, I mean, I could even see him going, you know where? The Pittsburgh Steelers, another veteran quarterback. And guess what? Juju Smith-Schuster always plays better when he had Antonio Brown, a number 1 receiver. You give those two guys, all of a sudden, that team becomes a little bit more complete. They got a good enough defense. Maybe they need a little help on the offense side of the football. That could be interesting, Sal. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I love it. Let me talk for a second. So 3 weeks now, maybe even 4 weeks, Matt calls me and he's like, Sal, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, dude, OBJ is going to end up a Green Bay Packer. I said, get the hell out of here. What are you talking about? Where did you come up with this shit? I tell the guy, man. And now today I'm like, you know what? This fucking dude's going to end up a Green Bay Packer. He's going to probably end up a Green Bay Packer. I could see that happening. I really could. When you first said it to me, I said, no way. But look, man, I mean, after his father, released tapes or something of him being open and not getting the ball. Now, look, OBJ is a grown man. He's a grown man. His father should not be stepping in, okay, and doing stuff like that. I just think it shows no character. It shows like you got your daddy cleaning up your laundry, basically.
Well,
like, dude.
Yeah, you know what this reminds me of? Again, we saw this in New York with Odell, even with the veteran quarterback, even with Eli Manning. If you remember, he had that whole big sideline blow up where he, I think, ruined a kicking goal or something. He pushed it over. If you remember that, this reminds me of Antonio Brown, and that's why I'm saying to you, he might be a little bit of a prima donna. He might be a little bit, too much of the spotlight. I mean, he's always been a guy that's been flashy and flair. Obviously, that one-handed catch he's known for. But listen, this guy has talent. This guy, if you put him with, I'm telling you, a veteran quarterback who already has a number 1 receiver, I don't think he can go to a team right now and say, I'm the number 1 receiver. I'm the guy. I'm the moment. Throw it to me and I'll catch the ball. I don't. But if you put him on a team, who can control his prima donna-esque attitude, that has a veteran quarterback that controls the locker room. Listen, what happened with Antonio Brown when you put him in with Tom Brady, a veteran quarterback?
He's a superstar, man.
I'm just saying. That's some of these guys, especially the wide receivers in the NFL today. Some of these guys need that veteran presence from the quarterback. And I'm telling you, Odell Beckham Jr. will be a superstar in this league once again, once he gets that done. I hope it happens for him because, again, I believe this guy has God-given natural talent that we have maybe not even seen the best from this guy. And I'm telling you right now, I hope and I pray we see him with a veteran quarterback in the next. And I could see, again, Big Ben. And Big Ben would thrive with him. I'm telling you right now, Big Ben would thrive with him. And so I wouldn't mind if he went to Pittsburgh either. Those are the 2 spots. I don't think I like the Saints. Obviously, the Panthers fan, I don't love it. But I don't think the Saints have the quarterback right now. Trevor Siemian's not the guy this year, in my opinion. But you do have Sean Payton in the locker room, which, again, will control the shit that comes out of Odell Beckham. All right, so now let's dive back into the game. I know we just went on a little hiatus, but we had to because that's big news in the NFL. That's big news that we'll talk about moving forward. So, Sal, let's...
I think we need to touch on one more thing.
Before
we go into the picks, I mean, the receiver, the tight end from the Las Vegas Raiders, man. I mean, what do you think about this whole...
Well, the wide receiver, you're talking about Ruggs. I'm going to touch... Yeah. I'm going to touch on it here really quick. Again, it's a sad story. It's a sad story for everyone. And again, everyone here, I think as a sports fan is going to, and I've gotten a few comments about it already. I've gotten people messaging me and they say it's sad because this guy had, again, a God-given talent that not many people have. The only thing I'm saying is I'm more sorry for the family that lost their son, their daughter, the family that lost the father, the family that lost the mother, the family that lost in this circumstance, in my opinion, is who I'm really sad for. And again, the only reason I don't have as much empathy for a guy like Ruggs right now is because he was going 156 miles an hour while drinking and driving. And guess what? As an NFL player in this league, there's zero excuse for it. You have the money, and frankly, right now, you don't even need money because you got Uber. Uber is $10, $20. I don't care. You're an NFL athlete. You should never get behind the wheel at all, in my opinion, especially if you are under the influence of any kind of substance. Yep. I think it's arrogant, ignorant, and frankly, I think it's selfish. And so, again, he's a guy that we'll see what happens with him. I mean, he's going to be in jail, it seems like, for a little bit, but who knows? He's a guy that has talent who can come back, and I believe everyone deserves a second chance. So, again, I'm hoping for him. But again, I think there's a lot of people can learn from this and use it as an example because a lot of people, do still drink and drive, and I think that's something that I would say to everyone here, it's not worth it ever.
It's not. So it's not. Look at this guy's whole life just changed in a matter of seconds. Okay, in a matter of seconds. All right, and the family. I mean, come on, we just lost a human being over this, a dog. I mean, it's just a totally sad situation. Now he's in jail. Now you got a couple people that are dead over it. You got families grieving. It's something that could have been prevented, like you said. It could have been prevented, and it's just a shame. It's a shame. So yeah, we'll move on. To touch base on that.
No, I think it's good to touch on the news, and then the last thing, and then on a little bit of a lighter note, we could touch on before we move into the projections for tonight. Obviously, is the Vaughn Miller situation. Vaughn Miller, I saw his interview this morning. He was happy, he was giddy. Another guy that's been through his off-field struggles, but another guy that's a leader in a locker room, a guy that can control a defense as well as anyone out there. Definitely a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Vaughn Miller, the longtime Bronco. He said this morning, and it really stuck with me. He said, "I went to bed 4-4, and I woke up 7-1." And that's got to feel good for a guy that's been in Denver for a long time. Obviously, won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, and all of a sudden now he's not just like Odell Beckham Jr. Maybe he's no longer wide receiver one Odell. Same thing here. Maybe he's not the end one. But when you got Aaron Donald on that team, he doesn't have to be. And all of a sudden, I think this move's great because it opens up the door because they're going to now have to deal with both of them. You can't double team Donald every single time.
Double team.
So all of a sudden, I think this is a great move for the defense of the Rams, and this is another scenario where a team that's already good, already great, says it's time to make that one additional move to get the job done. And we just saw the Braves win the World Series, right? And you know why they won the World Series? Because in the middle of their season, their GM, their coaching staff, and everyone around them said, "We're not good enough. We aren't. We're good. We're not good enough. Let's go out and make a few moves." They made the moves, and we see what happens. They win the World Series this year. Great for Atlanta. Great for the sport of baseball. And again, I think we're seeing this more and more in the NFL today where people, teams, organizations are making the additional move to get the freaking job done. So, Sal, talking about getting the job done, it's time to get the job done here because everyone out there in Pick Vault Nation is ready for tonight's plays for both of us. I'm going to let you go first here. I'm going to let you grease the wheels. I'm going to let you get everyone excited. What do you got tonight? I want a score prediction, and I want your play for tonight's critical Thursday Night Football matchup between the Jets and the Colts. Let's hear it.
Let me start off by saying, okay, I'm not losing tonight. I'm getting a winner chicken dinner, and it starts tonight. So let's grease the wheels. Let's jump on the train, and let's go. Choo-choo, hit the button. I love it. I love it. Okay. I am taking, okay, look at kudos to the Jets. They won last week. This guy White looked like a superstar last week. Threw for over 400 yards, some touchdown passes. It don't happen like that tonight, okay? The Colts had a week to prepare for this guy, okay? He's gonna get back. They're gonna put him back to reality tonight, okay? He's gonna throw for a couple interceptions. He's gonna turn the ball over. The Colts win this game easily. The spread's at 10 for a reason, okay? Colts win the game big. I'm gonna say 28-10, 31-13, something like that. But the Colts get the job done. They cover the spread easily. It's gonna be a no sweater. Sit back, relax, and count your money, because tonight the Colts get the job done.
Love it, love it. No, and again, I agree on the same. The pick vault does as well. Our artificial intelligence. I personally agree. I think tonight, like as I mentioned, Colts lost last week. The Colts coming off an overtime loss, a heartbreaking loss, one where Carson Wentz hadn't gotten the job done, wasn't able to get the job done, and all of a sudden now you're going to see it again. You're going to see him have a moment in primetime football, and the last time he was in primetime, he got the job done. We woke up, they got the win. They were plus 4.5. If you remember, they actually got the win in primetime football. I think Carson Wentz is a quarterback that can and still win games in this league, especially when you're going up against the Jets. For me, I think I didn't really like this morning when I woke up the 10.5 at 10 points. I love it. I think you take it because tonight's a statement win for this Colts team and a statement win for this organization against, again, a backup quarterback in the NFL on a short week after his first start where he looked phenomenal. All things, in my opinion, lean me to believe this is a big organizational win for the Colts tonight. And in the Pick Vault agrees as well. So the Pick Vault score projection, we got the Colts winning 28.9 to 16.9, meaning the projected artificial intelligence spread is at 12 points. So again, we take them at 10. I don't do the 10.5. I take them at 10. Again, a two-possession win. I take them at 10 points. Colts minus 10 is the play. Our over-under right now, again, is at 45.5. That's across the board. But the Pick Vault score projection is at 45.8. I stay away. That's way too close either way. So stay away from the over-under in this ball game as well. I think, as I mentioned before, a lot of public money and a lot of big bettors are betting on the under tonight. I don't know. I could see this game being, like you said, 35-10, maybe 35-10. I mean, that's what I'm locking in. I'm locking in 35-10 personally. And the Pick Vault, as I mentioned, the artificial intelligence, we got 28.9 to 16.9, a 12-point win for the Indianapolis Colts over this New York Jets team. And one more time for Pick Vault Nation. I do want to remind everyone out there, the player props, one more time, all right? So everyone can listen. We got Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown scorer. We got Jonathan Taylor over 17.5 receiving yards. We got Mike White to throw an interception tonight, and Michael Carter under 49.5 rushing yards. I would stay away from the over-under of Carson Wentz, 245.5. Stay away because 5 out of the last 6 he has gone under. In this game, primetime football, I think you get another under tonight, but I'm staying away from that play completely. And Pick Vault Nation, now is the time to unlock your money. All you got to do right now, we got a 7-day free trial out there for everyone here on Instagram, everyone out there to the world. Tell your friends, tell your family, because guess what? Our prices will soon increase. Again, we have to make some money across the board here at the Pick Vault, so our prices will soon increase. So everyone, you could lock yourself into this current offer, which is $34.99 a month or $299 for the year. Less than $1 a day. You get picks, player props, and score projections brought to you by the artificial intelligence-backed computer simulations that is the Pick Vault. Again, it's the #1 app out there right now for sports betting. It's a tool that goes in your pocket. As Sal says, it's a tool in the toolbox to help you make your money. So again, everyone out there, 7-day free trial right now. Click the link in our bio or search us on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. The Pick Vault is out there right now. So Sal, one more time, I'm going to say this to everyone here at Pick Vault Nation as well. Go check out Sally Picks 585 Bets. He's in Las Vegas. He's getting the information before anyone else is out there. Again, Sally Picks 585 Bets. When he loses a game, that's when it's time to hop on the train. It's time to grease the wheels because this guy wins and wins and wins, gets the job done over and over. So Sally Picks has become a family to me and to the Pick Vault as well. And we're super excited about a lot of things moving forward with Sally Picks. An announcement coming really soon. I know Sally knows about it, but an announcement coming really soon here for the Pick Vault, and we are super excited. So again, Sally Picks, thanks for hopping on, and thanks for being my co-host. What do you got to say to the world?
I just want to say, a couple of things, man. Matt, thank you once again. It's always a pleasure. Not only do we do this podcast together, man. I mean, we've built a relationship. We really have, man. We talk. I mean, we've said this, before. I talk to you more than I talk to my mother. Okay, we probably talk 50 times a day, and I'm not exaggerating. Okay, so I just want to thank you for that. And guys, look, man, the app that this guy's got, and I say it all the time on my train show. Okay, it is the best tool to have. I got a toolbox, and the Pick Vault app is the number one tool I use. I mean, artificial intelligence, it's just amazing. And look at it kicks ass every fucking day. It kicks ass. But the best thing about it is what you guys don't understand. This kid works hard, man. He's up late at night, okay, doing all the graphics, getting all the scores together. I mean, this guy works hard. So I just want to give you kudos, man. I really do, because hard work pays off. And all this hard work that you're doing is going to pay off, man. And I'm just happy that I'm a part of this team, man. I'm Pick Vault. I'm Pick Vault until I die. Let's go.
Love it.
Let's
The Pick Vault.
go.
And the Pick Vault loves Sally Picks. And again, we have a big announcement coming soon, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Coming up in the next, hopefully sooner rather than later, but a big announcement with Sally Picks and the Pick Vault. Maybe making a little bit of a transition here, which will be very fun and exciting, I think, for everyone out there in Pick Vault Nation and Sally Picks 585 Bets Nation. So everyone out there, one more time, it is Thursday Night Football. We got a great matchup. Sally and I both are on the Colts minus 10 points. Don't get beat by the hook, as Sal always says. The Colts minus 10 points. You always take the home team, right? You say it all the time. You always take the home team at night football, right?
That's right. Let's go. And listen, guys, don't forget, we got the train show, the best show on Instagram at 6 o'clock tonight. The Pick Vault will be there with me. We're going to tap some fans in. Let's go. 6 o'clock, the train show. Choo-choo, choo-choo.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys tune in 6 o'clock for the train show today on Instagram. Sally Picks 585 Bets, and I will be live for you guys to hop in, ask us questions, talk about the game, talk about player props, score projections, and more. You don't want to miss it. It's a Pick Vault Nation. We are out, and we will see you Monday night for an exclusive Monday Night Football podcast with Sally Picks 585 Best, and we're bringing on a special guest as well. We're going to announce that soon. So Pick Vault Nation, we're super excited, and we will see you Monday. We are OUT out. Let's make some freaking money tonight.
Let's go.
You've been listening to the Pick Vault, America's premier sports gambling consultation firm, are ready to make you a winner and unlock your money. Make sure to hit the website at www.thepickvault.com. Find the app and subscribe to receive exclusive member content, including our picks, live updates, and sports news. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at The Pick Vault, taking sports gambling to the next level. Till next time, this is The Pick Vault, signing off.
This the Pick Vault. Gonna sit you down and listen to this real talk. Ain't no first or second option, this the default. Turning picks into these dollars, gonna let them fall. Raining down these daily winnings like an aerosol. Analytics calculated just to win it all. Problems when it comes to choosing, we got all them solved. Got the picks that needin' fixed, and you know who to call. Cause this the Pick Vault.